being involved with the Senior School of Medicine and Alumni Association is learning about accomplishments of our colleagues. This is just an example to hear what Dave had to say about, it's amazing we don't know what's going on with these people. It's so vast, the experiences are so vast, and it's hard to believe that we're contemporary classmates and see what different things people do. And this is an example, and Dave's example. But also their personal commitment and character are how humble they can be. Dr. Rick Fonken, who we are honoring with the Silver&Gold Award this evening, is just such a man. Dr. Fonken, president of the class of 1959, and an ophthalmologist, has regularly supported the Alumni Association in a variety of ways. He served on the Alumni Board of Directors for 11 years. He was a dedicated member of the admissions committee, which he describes as a humbling experience due to the quality of applicants. He served as president of the Alumni Board of Directors for 3 years. He was an Adler Scholars Committee, on the committee, and a member of the Heritage Society and Dean's Circle. One of his outstanding accomplishments was spearheading, with help from colleagues, the Stethoscope Fund. The fund provides a stethoscope to each incoming medical student to the University of Colorado School of Medicine. The fund has become a beloved tradition and legacy for the school. Dr. Fonken completed his internship at the University of Michigan and his residency at the University of Colorado. He chose ophthalmology because, as he puts it, the eye is a fantastic expression of the brain, an extension of the brain. He says if he had chosen to be a psychiatrist, he'd be crying all the time. After medical school, he served 2 years in the U.S. Army as a general medical officer in France. For 2 years during the 80s, he was in Sierra Leone, where he served as a cataract surgeon treating children with afflictions of glaucoma and parasitic infections of the eyes. He continued humanitarian service in Mexico in the early 90s. Dr. Fonken had a private practice in Denver before deciding to return to his native Fort Collins, where he practiced for the next 24 years. Yet during this time, he was an assistant clinical professor at the CU's hospital, all the way from Fort Collins. That's quite a commute there. A former colleague describes Rick as a highly moral and ethical colleague who had genuine compassion for his patients and their families, and was a genuine breath of fresh air. Of himself, Dr. Fonken holds a firm belief in intellectual honesty and knowing your capabilities and acting accordingly. Although he had a profound respect and admiration for his CU professors, Dr. Fonken says his best teacher was a cadaver, and that's why he signed up to be one. Dr. Fonken says he was, and I quote, befuddled and flabbergasted that he learned he'd been nominated for the Silver&Gold Award. I can tell you, he's a delightful man and a dedicated member of our board who always seemed to have a twinkle in his eye. I suppose this is appropriate for an ophthalmologist. I don't know what a urologist would do. So without further ado, let me present the Silver&Gold Award to Dr. Rick Fonken.